So let us work on the drop-down list. Right click, new file, drop-down list dot spec dot ts. Okay. See, the drop-down list contains some different kind of options. So in that, we are going to select whatever the option we require. In that, whatever the option we require, we need to choose it. Okay. So how to select the options? And before selecting, so let us check what are all the types of the drop down and how you can perform the actions on the different types of drop downs. Okay. Now see, this is the website. In this website, it contains, there are so many skills are there. Okay. So I need to choose the skills from this drop down. Right click and inspect. Right click and inspect. Right. See, if you observe this element information, the tag name is select. The tag name is select and which contains different kind of attributes. If tag name is a select, we will call it as a static dropdown. What is meant by static dropdown? Inside the options, all the options are predefined at the time of developing it. Whoever is developing the website, whoever is making that dropdown, that time all the options are fixed. That means they provided at the time of developing one. So that is called static dropdown. So for that static dropdown, the tag name is a select. Okay. So if it is a static, how you can select the different kind of options? Okay. Right. Now see, first I want to know how many number of options are there inside this dropdown. I want to know how many number of options inside this dropdown. Okay. So first let us capture the element information. This is the, oh, it contains very huge amount. See, this is the select tag name. Inside the select tag name, each and every option it contains the tag name is option. Inside the select tag, there are so many options. Each and every option contains the tag name is option. Okay. So if you say this element information, this is the select. If you just click on this, expand it, see it contains so many options under. That means inside the option, it is developing with option value like this. So all these are all the different kind of options are developed inside this dropdown. Okay, right. So now what is my requirement is, I want to find out how many number of options are there inside this dropdown. So what you need to do? See here, I am trying to explain the logic. I have the code and I'm trying to explain the code also. See, first, what is my requirement? I want to find out the number of options. Find out number of options. Okay. So whenever you want to find out number of options, first thing is identify dropdown. Identify dropdown. Inside the dropdown, So which option you are going to use it? Inside the drop down, which option you are trying to use it? See, first you are identifying this drop down. So that is a select. Now if you expand it, all the options are designed with option tag and then value attribute under. So now what you can do? So inside, to find out the number of options, for all the options, the common property is the option. Okay. So first you are identifying the drop down. Inside the drop down, you will identify with option tag, because this is the common property for all the options. There is another attribute called value, but that value attribute is different. So in this case, only the option is common. So using this option, you are trying to identify the number of options in it. Okay. So identify the drop down. Inside the drop down, you will identify with option. The same, whatever you tried for the links, checkboxes, radio buttons, how you applied for the specific elements, the same concept you are applying here also. Okay, right. See, first I'm trying to open the website. See, I have written in 3 ways. You can use any one of the approach. And see, page.locator, hash skills greater than option. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Now see, if you see this element information, this is the select information. This select information which contains ID is equal to skills. This is the ID attribute. This ID attribute which contains a skills. Okay. So now what you can do is you are going to write hash skills. Hash skills. This is the CSS selector for the dropdown. Why? Because this is the ID. This is the ID value. So no need to use this ID attribute, square bracket, tag name, all those things under, it's not required because it contains ID. Even if you try to capture the CSS selector on the browser, it gives the same thing only. Okay. So inside the skills, there are so many options are there. All the options are direct chain. All the options are direct chain. If you say this, all these options are direct child. All these options are direct child of this select. So now here what you can do is, if you want, you can write greater than symbol and then option. So what is the meaning of this greater than symbol? This greater than symbol is representing direct child. Direct child of what? This select. That's why I'm using this greater than symbol. The same thing we can also write in another way. Hash skills, and here you can use option. That means you can use space. You can use space. So what is the meaning of this? If you are using option after space, this option you can find out in the select tag anywhere. It is need not to be like immediate child. This option can found in either direct child or subchild or sub-subchild, anything. Anywhere you can find out under this select tag. That is the meaning of this. What is the meaning of this space? The space is representing it can be found anywhere under the selected tag. It is need not to be a like direct child. If you want to find out as a direct child, you have to use this greater than symbol. If you are using space means it can be found anywhere under this case. Okay, so now in this case, both options will work. In this case, both options will work. Okay, right. So now here in the program, in the first approach, what I'm doing, I'm trying to identify the option. I'm storing under the locator. I'm storing under the locator. So whenever it is locator, and to find out the locator, that means to find out the list of matching elements under the locator, there is a method called count method. There is a method called count method. Await list of one dot count. This is the method you are trying to use it. Right? So here you are using page.locator, and here it is storing under the variable called list1. This list1 is a locator, and console.log I am printing it. So to get the number of elements which is matching with that locator, there is a method called count method. And the same thing I am trying to assert it. I think there are some 78 options are there inside this dropdown. This is approach 1. This approach 2, you know that page.locator, and here I'm using all method. This all method, what it returns? It returns array of locator. It returns array of locator, and I stored in this variable, and then since it is array, to get the number of elements in the array, we are using length property. So here I'm just asserting it. And similarly, this is the third approach, but actually this is the old style and not recommending. This is old style. And Playwright guys, they are not recommending this approach. So what double dollar it returns? It returns element handle. Element handle. That means it returns array of element handle. So what is the difference between locator and this element handle? In case of whenever you try to use locator method, internally auto wait mechanism, auto retry, even if element is not found immediately, it is waiting and then it is trying to perform the actions. And the test cases are more stable in case of locator pointer, because the auto wait mechanism is applied behind. But when it comes to like double dollar, the double dollar, it is trying to identify the element instantly. If elements are not found, it returns null. Definitely your test case are going to fail. Behind, there is no auto retry, auto wait mechanism concepts are not applicable on this double dollar kind of thing. Okay, that's why the Playwright guys, they are not recommending this approach. Okay, but anyway, this double dollar also it returns array of element handle. So since it is array, we are using this length property, and then I'm trying to expect it. Okay, so go to this package.json. Let us create a customized command. Dropdown list. Dropdown list. Go here. Go to the terminal. npm run drop down list. Okay. So there are number of options are 78. That's why I'm comparing with 78. Okay. Right. So I'm giving this program in the chart. So giving for 5 minutes and then try to execute on your side and then let me know if you have any doubts.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of double dollar in approach 3 or style?
Double dollar is it returns element handle. That actually in the latest versions of the Playwright, they're not recommending handle. See, in the whenever you try to use page dot locator, behind what happened is it is applying auto wait mechanism, auto retry. Let's say even if element is not appearing immediately on the web page, it is going to wait and then it performs the action under, where in case of page dot locator. But whenever you try to use page dot dollar, instantly, immediately it is trying to perform the action on the web element. Immediately it is identifying the element. It is not applying auto wait mechanism, auto retry, this kind of things. And assuming that there is an element, that element is appearing after 2 seconds on the web page. If you are trying to use this page dot double dollar, immediately it is trying to perform the action. It is not going to wait single second also. But in case of page dot locator, before it tries to perform the action, first it is applying this auto wait mechanism, auto retry, all this kind of mechanisms they are trying to apply, and then it performs the action. It is not performing action immediately in case of page dot locator. But in case of page dot double dollar, it returns a element handle. So it's kind of like a reference of the element under. That element, it is trying to find out immediately. If element is not found, it returns null. Definitely your test script is going to fail. So this is a old style. Okay, that's why here just for explanation point of view, I'm writing this, but people are not using nowadays in that. Because the Playwright straight away they're recommending us to use Playwright page dot locator method. Yes, guys. I'm giving 2 minutes. Now see here, I'm trying to use something like template literal concept. I'm using template literal concept. Now see how you can store the string. See, the string can be stored in the single quotes or double quotes, or there is something like backtick operation. See, where is this backtick symbol is there? On your keyboard, there is an escape button. Below escape button, this button is there. This is backtick. So people also call it as like template literal concept. So that means whatever you want to write the string, that string you are going to write it within the backtick symbols. And if you want to print that value also you can put it in the backtick symbol. Now see, this is backtick symbol starting and this is ending. The number of options is equal to, normally what you are writing, number of options is equal to comma and then the output variable. But here everything, this total expression, everything you are putting under this backtick operation, right? So if you want to print the value of that expression, what you need to do, you have to use dollar and the within the curly braces you have to put it. Then the value will be taken care. Number of options is equal to dollar and within the curly braces you have to mention it. If you don't mention, again it is going to print as it is. See, I need the output. I need the output. I need the output. So to get the output, what you need to do, you have to use dollar and then within the curly braces, you have to use it. See, this concept is called template literal. This concept is called template literal. That means you are evaluating the expression value by putting under within the single, within the backtick symbols and using with the dollar curly braces, you are getting the value of that expression. This is the third approach of this string. Okay, right. Now, yeah, shall I proceed? Okay, I assuming yes. So now, how to select the options? How to select the options? How to select options from static dropdown? And I say static dropdown means the tag name is select. See, if it is static dropdown, see, simply you can write like page.locator and then the locator of the dropdown. That means you are using either XPath or CSS of the dropdown. And then there is a method called select option. There is a method called select option. So here you can select the option in three ways. One is based on the value. One is based on the value. The second thing is based on the index. And the third thing is based on the label. Label means it's a text. Label means it's a text. Okay. So how do you select the options from the static dropdown? Page.locator dot select option. And here inside you can use any one of the option, either value or index or label. How do you get the value? This value you will get it from the option tag. Okay. Similarly, you can also write, instead of writing page.locator, simply directly you can write like this. Directly you can apply the action method. Select option and inside, first you are providing the locator. And then you can choose either value or index or label. Anything you can apply. In the static dropdown, you can select the options in three ways, either value or index or label. Okay. See, that's what. So page dot select option. This is the drop down. This is the drop down. And then here I'm using label. When I say label means text. How do you get the text? Let's say this is option tag name and this is the closing. So here, whatever the text is there, that is the text. So in Playwright terminology, we will call it as a label. We will call it as label. So here you are trying to choose the option called label under. And value means inside the option, whatever the value is there, based on that, the corresponding option you are going to select it. And the index. Totally there are 78 elements are there. You are going to give the index in between 0 to 77. That means totally 78. You can give any one of the option. Okay. So here you are going to use a method called page.select option. Now see, if you say this syntax, page.select option, first you are providing selector. That means here you are giving either XPath or CSS selector. And then you can provide either value, you can provide either value or label or index. Right now, I am providing label. That means you are selecting based on the text. And the second thing is, I am selecting based on the value. And third is based on the index. These are all the three different ways to select the options. Okay, let us do one thing. If I want to see the output clearly, just wait for a few seconds so that you can see the output clearly. Page dot wait for timeout. Here I'm using 3 seconds. Copy. 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 See, at this moment, I'm trying to select only this test case. Right click, terminal. Yeah. Now see, first it is selecting C++. It is selecting data analytics. It is selecting the last option, XHTML. So we are selecting based on the label, based on the value, based on the index. Let's say if I'm giving like index value is 78, that means 79th means it is selecting a 80th option. But we don't have like 80th option, right? We don't have 80th option. So definitely it won't select. But in case of Java Selenium, there you will get like index out of bound exception. C++, data analytics. And the third option, you won't select it. Why? Because it contains only 78 elements. But we are trying to select 80th option. It is not there. So here you will get some kind of like index message under. See, page dot select option. Here, first you are selecting the skills, waiting for the element to be, see, whenever you are trying to use page dot locator, internally it is selecting the option. How it is selecting? It is waiting for the element to be visible and enabled. Okay, so it is trying to check. It is trying to check all these options under whether element is visible, whether element is enabled, whether element is stable. All these options are, it is trying to check. So based on that, it is performing the action on the element. Now see, it is giving the line number 28. It is trying to perform the action on based on the index 79, but it does not contain. That's why you are getting page.select option, test timeout after 30 seconds. The default timeout value is 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, if the element is not found, it will throw the error. Okay. Right. So I'm giving the program. Okay. So let us make this as 49th option. Okay. So I'm giving this program and try to execute. So I have given in the chart, just take that program and then try to execute. So you can select the options in three ways. One is based on label. Label means text. Based on value. Based on index. I think 50th option is mobile. Okay. So just to see here, I have written to see the output clearly. For that reason, I have mentioned the time. Okay. So I don't want to put this 3 seconds intentionally. Okay. Right. I'm just removing it, but from your side, just put some time gap and then try to execute. So here, these guys, they provided a method called a select option. Using this select option, you can select the option based on the label, based on the value, based on the index. See, sometimes some of the drop downs are allowed more than one option. While selecting, it is allowed to select more than one option. It is allowed to select more than one option. That means multi-selection. Whether this drop down is supporting multiple options or not, we need to check. How to check? See, on the element information, this is the element information of the drop down. On this element information, it contains an attribute called multiple. You will see an attribute called multiple. If it is containing multiple, then it supports multi-selection. Else, it is a single selection. Okay. So let us check that whether it is supporting multiple options or a single option. Is it done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So others, shall I proceed? At least give the response in the chat, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what I want is, I want to check whether this drop down supporting multiple options or single option. Okay. Right. So I told you, right? So if it is supporting multiple options, normally on this element information, you will see an attribute called multiple. But right now, you don't have an attribute called multiple. If you don't have multiple attribute, it returns null. If it is null means it doesn't support multiple selection. What I'm saying is through programmatically. In interview point of view, they will ask you to write a code how to verify whether this drop down is supporting multiple options or not. It does not contain multiple. But in case of Selenium Java, if you write, whenever you are writing this get attribute multiple, immediately you will get like exception. But here, it does not contain multiple attribute. It returns null. Instead of throwing an exception, it returns null. If it is null means it is not supporting multi-selection. Right. See, there is an option called multiple. Okay, get attribute. Here, in our example, it does not contain multiple attribute. So after this method gets executed, see, it is going to return null. So if status is not equal to null, then it supports multiple selection, else single selection. So it supports single selection. That means we cannot select more than one option. There are some examples for multi-selection. In our real-time example, let's say whenever you try to use Naukri.com, in that, like, I mean, they will ask like, what are all your favorite locations, and so they will ask you to select like more than one option. If it is drop down, they will ask you to select more than one option. Okay. Right. So now in this case, it is a single selection. I have given the program in the chat. In case of Selenium Java, at the line number 31, there itself you will get the exception. After that, it is not able to proceed further. But in this case, get attribute, it returns null. And here we are checking the condition. If status is not equal to null, then we are checking that. Okay. So any doubts up to this?
Now, could you please send me that previous one query?
In the chart, it is there.
No, actually, it got disconnected for after 30 minutes. So, yeah, this one skills. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So now what I want is, I want to get a default option, or after application is loaded, see, this is the application. After application is loaded, the option, whatever it is showing, that is the default option, or like, let's say first selected option, like select skills. I want to get the default option. Okay. So first you are selecting the dropdown. Inside the dropdown, you have like all these are all the options. All these are all the options. Okay. So to get the option, what is the method you are trying to use? To get this option, what is the method you are trying to use? This is the element text, right?
Use text properly.
Sorry,
Text using text.
can you speak little bit louder?
Using text to that attribute to text.
Using- How to get elemented text? How to get elemented text?
Using text content.
Start.
Get
Text.
attribute. Hello.
Yes.
Get attribute by using get attribute.
What get
Label.
attribute? Which attribute you are
Label.
using it?
Label.
There is no label. Right click.
Can you right click?
Using
Right
text
click
contents.
inspect.
See here, if you expand it, there is no label under
Text content.
text content. Using text content, you are getting the text of the element. But if you are writing page.locator.text content, will it work? Page.locator, inside you are providing this drop down list and then tag name, something like option or something, whatever it is. And after that, text content. If you write like this, will it work?
I think no.
Why?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because I think we have to mention the element ID.
We have to mention the
Element ID.
not element ID, because there are totally 78 elements are there, right?
Yes.
See here, page.locator, select the skills option means with this combination, how many elements are there?
78.
78. And if you don't mention this first name or nth of 0, you will get what kind of error message you will get? Whenever you are performing an action, a particular element, but with that locator, if it is matching more than an element, what kind of error you are getting?
Stick to values.
Out of boundary or
you are getting strict mode violation.
Yes, strict mode. Yeah.
You are getting strict mode violation.
Strict
That
mode
means
violation.
actually for this locator, there are more than one element is matching, but simply you are trying to use text content method. On which method or on which element I need to get the text? It is in the confusion state. That's why you are going to get strict mode violation. But what is my intention? I want to get the default option. Default option means first option. So with this, you have to specify either first method or you can mention nth of 0. So I mentioned this one also. Either this way or this way. You can use it.
From small doubt, if in case we have to check for the each element, I mean, what are the skills is options? We have to check with each one means, I mean, continuously 1, 2, 3, 4 like that means what we have to make sure.
So continuously means like, see, generally you should have the list of options.
Yes.
Yes or no? See, while
Yes.
doing manual testing, you are comparing with the actual output versus expected output.
Expected.
So now
Yes.
in this case, the expected output you should maintain in some different format. Assuming that you need to maintain in the array format. So according to your requirement, I need to verify each and every element under. Yes or no?
Yeah. I mean, if I need to check with each and everything means we have to give the what are the options, 78 options. We have to mention either like array or string for in expected results, right?
You have to maintain in the either string format or like a kind of like some external data file like either JSON or something like you can maintain in the either CSV or you can maintain in the some Excel sheet. There you need to maintain it. From there you need to get one by one and then you need to verify it. Because assertions means you need to compare actual versus expected.
Expected.
Where is your expected? You should be there. I mean, it should be there somewhere, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah.
So, assuming
For
that
that one, we have to write a extra query for this, right? I
you
mean,
have to write the code. You
this.
have to write. See, automation means automatically it won't happen. You have to write the code for this. So, for this, you have to design it. Okay, right now, my output strings are, I'm going to store it in the either array format or something, a different format and all. So, from there, I'm going to get like them in one by one and then try to verify it and then.
Okay.
Right. Now here, okay, so you can use either first or nth of 0. Okay, so you can use any one of the option. If you don't use this approach, you will get immediately strict mode violation. So this is common nowadays. Like whenever people are going for an interview, so normally this is one of the questions people will ask. This is okay. The same thing actually when I attended one of the interview in like I'm almost 1.5 year back, like the same question they asked, is there any other way? I have written these two approaches. He is expecting the third approach. But actually it's not required also, but he's testing it. So what is this? Even that time, like even I also don't know. After I came and searched the information, so the Google and ChatGPT, they provided some kind of information is for the default options and all, internally, the CSS, they will have one attribute called checked attribute that we also don't know. Even if you go and see the element information, in that element information also, it does not contain. There is an attribute called checked attribute. Even for the first selected option also, it does not contain checked option under. But at the time of executing internally, there is an attribute will be sending for the default option under. Okay, so this is what. See, skills option, this is the locator. And column checked. Column checked means this is applicable for the only for the default selected option, whatever it is. That is internally it is going to send by the CSS sender. Okay, the CSS mechanism internally it is going to send this attribute at the time of executing for the default selected option. So wherever the option is matching with the checked, that would be the first default selection option. Okay, so that guy, he was expecting this, but that time I did not know. But after I came here, okay, this is internal mechanism of the CSS. So what is the output? The output you will get select skills. Normally everybody will write the first and second. The third one is something is that is internal concept. Okay, so the checked property, it is going to be applicable only for that element only. So then there is no point of like multiple elements under in this case. Directly you can apply this text content method. You can give either text content or inner text. Anything is fine. Okay. I have given the program. Just check. Okay, shall I proceed?
Can proceed.
Yes.
There is another scenario is a random selection. What is meant by random selection? See, in this drop down, I have so many options are there.
Can
In
select
this-
anything.
So When I say random selection means I don't know which option it is going to select while executing it. It can pick any option. But if you want to do that, here two things is required. Can you tell me which option is suitable to pick the options randomly? Select by label or text or value. Sorry, value or index or label. I want to choose randomly. Which option it is going to select, we don't know. Huh? What, madam? So normally you are applying either value or index
Or label.
or label. See, ultimately you need to use either one of the option. But now to select the randomly, which option is convenient?
Index can be used.
So how you are going to use this index?
Number, you can give the number message.
Because I need to get one random number. Based on that random number is passing as the index. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So then you can use select options. There you can give this index column and whatever the random number you are getting, that random number you are sending as the
Input, like parameters.
input.
Yeah.
But here, how to generate the random number? That is the main point. So here in JavaScript with one statement, one line statement, you can do that. See, there is a library called math library in the JavaScript. See, math.random under math library, there is a function called random function. You know that here you are getting total number of options are 78. See, this math.random number, it is always generating the number in between 0 to 1. It is always generating the number in between 0 to 1. Which one? This math.random number. It is generating the number in between 0 to 1. Let's say like 0.45, 0.65, 0.98, like this. It is always generating in between 0 to 1. You know the total number of options. The total number of options are 78. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is this math.random into this total number of options. I'm trying to perform it. Okay, 0 to, assuming that this number is trying to generate something like 0.45, something else. And this 0.45 into 78. Okay, approximately it is giving something like some 31.65, something like this. But can I use this index? Index is always like number only. You don't have like, I mean, you don't have like any fractional numbers. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this 31.65, I need to convert it into 31 or 32. So what I'm going to do is, again, in the same math library, there is one more function called floor. Floor of 31.65. So here you will get 31. That means I am removing this fractional numbers. I am making this 31 by applying this floor method. This 31, I am going to send it to the index. Every time, whenever it is trying to execute, it always generates one number. That number we cannot predict it under, because the number it is going to generate in between 0 to 1. And then we are making a one number under by applying this math.floor and all those things. And finally, that number you are going to send it as the index. Okay. So here, simple. There is a library called math. Under that, math.random into total. First, we are converting. You are trying to generate the number in between 0 to 78. That's why here I'm multiplying with the total. Okay. So this random index, once I get this random index, okay. So you can also write like this. Options random index dot text content. Can I write it? Here you are getting all the options. And this random index, options of random index dot text content. What it is doing, since it is array, how would you access the array?
Using index, yeah.
By using index. So the index I'm getting, and I'm getting the content. So this is also one way. This is also one way. So here I'm just printing random index. What is the random index? And then what is the value I'm getting under. And see, once I get this random option, and by applying this label, by applying, this is a random option, right? This random option I'm getting with the label. Because here you are getting the content, text content. That text content you are applying with this label under. Instead of writing these 3 lines, directly you can apply this. What? This random index. That is one way. Or the another way is like in options random index dot text content. We are getting the text of option, and that option I'm going to send it as the label. Now see, this time it is selecting 56 option, that is selecting presentations. It is selecting JavaScript. Index is 39. Index is 24. That is documentation. Android index 4. So this is how you need to select the random. Okay. So in the JavaScript, there is a library called math library. Using this math library, we are generating the index. Based on that index, you are selecting the option. Okay. Right. So I think the next is something like the multi-selection. I have an example for the multi-selection also. See, this is the website. So this drop down is allowing to select more than one option. So this is a drop down. Right click and inspect. See, this drop down is also like a static drop down. Why? Because it contains the tag name is a select. But it is allowed to select more than one option. Now see, if you observe it, it contains multiple attributes. You will see like this. Okay. So if drop down is allowing more than one option means it is a multi-selection type. Okay. So see, concept is same. You can apply either value or index or label. You can use any one of the option. But this time it is allowing more than one option. Now see, I'm trying to open the website. I'm trying to open the website and see, this is the selector. This is a tag name. And now see, it contains ID is equal to multi-select. So with this multi-select, I can identify this element. I can identify this element. Okay. So right click right click, copy, copy selected. If you capture it, see, this is the CSS selector of that dropdown. The same thing I'm using. See, select option, this is the selector. And here I'm trying to choose multiple options, not a single option. Earlier, page.select option, and then this is the locator. And then within the curly braces, you are going to give either label or value or index. Any one of the option you are giving under. This is selected. After that, you are providing either label or value or index. Anything, I mean, any one of the thing like you are providing. But now here you are trying to select multiple options. So here, since you are selecting multiple options, you need to put it in the array type. Within the array, you can apply this concept. Within this array, you can apply this multi-combination. Okay, it's up to you. You can apply this label, value, or index, or anything. But you should remember, while doing multi-selection, if any one of the option is wrong, the total multi-selection operation is going to fail. Okay, so first let us execute. Only difference multi-select is you will write within the array type. Within this array, again, you are going to write like this. Let's do one thing. Let us wait for a few seconds. Await page dot wait for timeout. Is it working? Hey, what happened? Test case is passed. Which test case it is executing, madam?
Maybe another only is there, maybe check now.
Sorry?
In that another only is there, no? Only one only, test only. Above, like. Why?
Where is this multi-select test case? It's showing. I should see, right?
Hmm.
At least the title. Title should be.
Yes.
Let us see this report. Multi-select. So this is also going. New York is a selecting page. California, New York label is equal to New York. Okay. Texas. Now it's showing multi-select. Now see here, it's supposed to show. 1 second. Just a second, guys. Just a second. What is the locator? Right? This is multi-select. Label value. Index is equal to, let's say, 5. What is the issue?
Any application issue?
I
It's
think
not selecting manual,
no,
like write
now
manual.
see, it's
Now it's
working. It's working and it's suddenly it's disappearing.
selecting, yeah.
I think 1 second. Hey, come on. What is this? Label is equal to Florida. Value is equal to Ohio. Index is equal to 5. Man, I think the application is showing wrong. I don't know. Actually, it was working. See, if something is wrong, so let me give this index value is 9.
Give you some error, right? Yeah.
No. See, first of all,
Yeah, and then we can see it at anything error. Yeah.
you won't see the selection.
Hmm.
Now this time it should give after 30 seconds, it will throw the error like locator not found kind of error message. Test timeout. Okay. Now see, the page dot select option test timeout 30 seconds is exceeding. Actually, the problem with this approach is, see, whenever you're trying to use the multi-selection handle, so if any one of the option is failed, the complete multi-selection is going to fail, and you will see this kind of page dot select option test timeout error. You will see this because the problem is here the index is 9. You are trying to select 10th option, but on the application you have only up to 8 elements only. You are trying to select the 10th option. If you are trying to select individually, there is no issue, but you are applying this multi-selection, right? So in the multi-selection, whenever you try to put it in the array type, that time, if all the elements are proper, then only it is going to perform this multi-selection. One day it killed our time because I try to use different index which is not there. And every time whenever we try to run it, like it's always giving the same issue. Later when I searched it, like it is giving only 8 elements. We have to give it in between 0 to 7. So because of one option, the remaining 2 options also won't work. Actually, program is working. Okay. Program is working. Just try from in your site. Actually, it's supposed to work. I mean, just try from your side. Should select. The selecting, but on the application. Is it selecting from your side?